Hi, today we're going to be learning to use the program called PyMol. You can find it under Education PyMol Molecular Graphics System. You should see two little graphical windows pop up. One is more for the command system, alright, and the other one is for actually viewing our molecules. Now, PyMol is similar to what you might call Adobe Photoshop. What Adobe Photoshop does for pictures, for JPEGs, GIFs, basically PyMol does for molecular modeling. So you have molecules that you want to manipulate or even create. You can do that in PyMol. Now, to use PyMol, you need a file, just like under Adobe Photoshop. You'll need a picture, a GIF, or a JPEG. We need what's called a PDB file. I have a couple here, but there's one in particular I want to use for this demonstration. And let's see. Here it is. It is labeled 7ahl.pdb. I'm going to open this. All right, and here we go. You see down here on our graphical viewer our molecule. All right, and it is definitely a macromolecule. It's a protein. It's actually a protein complex, and as you can see, this is a pore in a bacteria's membrane, basically in Staphylococcus, and as you can see, it has lots of parts, and right here it's just way too big for you to actually get a grasp of, like, well, what do I want to do with this thing? Well, in the next few videos we will begin to learn to manipulate this program so we can actually chemically alter this and analyze this very large molecule and find some interesting things about it or about other molecules. But as you can see, the neat thing about this program is you can actually visualize and see how this thing might work. Notice how in here you see there are molecules here basically sticking out, atoms sticking out, maybe to catch something, to interact with things that are trying to pass through the pore. Now, to some of the simple things you can do with this, as you can see, I'm rotating it. To rotate it, you just use the first mouse button that's closest to your index finger, and then you move the cursor. Now, if you have a mouse with 3 buttons, you can use the middle button, click on that one. Now you can move the whole molecule. You don't rotate it, you just kind of move it left and back. Then if you have the third button, you click on that, and look what I'm doing. It gets smaller, it gets larger, so you can zoom in if you like, zoom back out. That is with the third button. Most mice have the first and the second, the first and the third. They may not have the middle button. All right, so a couple of other things that might make this more interesting. You can go up here, and if you can see, we have two little blocks here of little buttons, and one of them says all, and one of them says 7AHL. Well, if we want to manipulate everything on the screen, we use the buttons under all. If we just want to manipulate 7AHL, all right, we would push these buttons. It really doesn't matter here. We just have the one molecule. I'm going to go over here, and I am going to the H at the 7AHL, and I am going to push H, and H is for hide. It's things you want to go away. Make everything go away. I hit everything, and as you can see, it goes away. Now, to bring it back, I have to push S. S means show. But when I bring it back, I'm not going to do lines, sticks, or ribbons. Those are different ways of looking at this. Basically, we were looking at the sticks, I believe, just then. I'm going to go to cartoon. And as you can see, cartoon is much different, but it's very visually appealing. And if you know something about proteins, you know that proteins generally come in certain kind of secondary structures called beta sheets, and that's what you're seeing here with the arrows. This particular protein is primarily made out of beta sheets. You can see a few alpha helices in here and some turns that you see here at the end. those are the three primary types of structures, and the cartoon displays those quite well, and actually it's very visually pleasing to the eye when you turn it into a cartoon. Maybe not as useful, depends on what you're doing, but as you can see, it's very pretty. Now we'll begin to learn to color these different groups. Now realize this particular protein complex. Now protein complex, I mean this is actually 7 proteins stuck together to make a functional complex, which is this pore in Staphylococcus. All right, that's all today. Next time we'll learn where to go to get the particular files for you to visualize these so-called PDB files. PDB stands for Protein Database. So basically you will download those files, put them into this program just as we did at the beginning, and be able to visualize it. So you can choose your favorite protein that you want to analyze and go look at it. That's all.